Hey, welcome to the Zoom here, CM, just so that I know who are you on Discord? And feel free to use the chat box too. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the video. And let's see, I'm gonna send a message. I'm gonna share the screen. All right, there's the screen. Welcome, Crush.
Hi.
And is CM, is that everything blockchain?
What?
Oh, I saw CM in here. I was trying to just correlate who that was.
Oh, okay, okay.
And we've got, the recording is already going. I'm gonna wait a few minutes and then reset the Zoom recording and probably crop out the first half after. And I don't know if I'm gonna even mess around with the stuff. I haven't even uploaded the first 4 working groups, and that's something I'm wanting to do here this afternoon. But one of the main things wanting to talk about here today is what are, I'm going to just respond here real quick. Does CM equal everything blockchain? So anyway, I lost my train of thought there. So one of the main things that wanting to do today is, and I actually have like minting social tokens. This is the agenda that I put forward in the PO app. And that's something wanting to make sure that I get distributed to everybody. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna wait till about, oh, and I don't know if we've got somebody in the, oh, here's Tyler in the waiting room. I'm gonna keep this window open. So welcome, Tyler. We are already recording, but as I was indicating, I'm gonna wait until maybe 5 minutes after and then kind of reset the intro so that if I get really motivated after I upload the footage to our channel. And here's Poopster, letting Poopster in. Welcome, Poopster. So we're already recording. Got to kill the audio there. Give me feedback, Tyler. You need to mute your, okay, there you go. So I'm going to reset our Zoom here in a couple minutes, waiting for a few more people to trickle in. So I think that this will be a much more controlled environment. So apologies to everybody. This is a learning experience for me and working to try to operate transparently as much as possible, and also you know, be inclusive. And you know, like I felt good with what we got done yesterday. I don't really feel that the time was efficiently spent, and we have a lot of work to do to get a nice polished submission. So one of the things, and I don't know where everybody's at with GitHub, and one of the things, does everybody here have a GitHub account right now?
I do.
So let me send you an invite, and if you Tyler could take an action item on that, that would be great, because I want to make sure that we've got, because one of the things that I'm going to put forward a proposal on, since we're utilizing, and I'm going to actually propose that this is retroactive to the people that have already signed up for our project page. And we've got like, what is this, 5 people, and not project page. This is the organization page for REtoken DAO. And I'm really liking just it's been pretty easy for me to use Markdown. Like that's one of the things that I already do. And I did get your invite or request to join the Trello space there, Crush. So thank you for doing that. As you've seen, Trello is the main thing that we're using for task management. And that's one of the opportunities that we have to improve our tools and our communication. And again, this is something that I've talked about, and I'm going to curb talking to that because I'm actually going to go ahead and reset here real quick. The Zoom recording, I'm going to bring this open.
Hey, Jason, before you do that, are you going to go over how to join GitHub, or is everybody already joined on the team? Am I the slow one? I found the page. It's configured how to join it.
Let me reset, because that would be good to get recorded anyway in the working group. So I'll go through that here as like one of the agenda items. I've got the Trello card open here. And this was basically just the copy and paste that I had. But let me go ahead and reset the Zoom real quick, and this will be kind of a starting point here. I'm going to do a quick screenshot with our current participants, so that, and this is just one of the things trying to get better at as far as the when we're talking about, and as most people or the people that have been throughout the process. I think it would be hard to say the way that we're distributing tokens for REtoken. It's in my opinion a very fair launch, and I sent a tweet on that earlier. But anyway, not going to talk about that right now. I'm wanting to focus on our working group, and I'm going to go ahead and do a real quick reset of the working group right now. And all right, hello everyone. This is Yonks, and this is the REtoken TokenTown Working Group number 5. We've been cramming in a lot of stuff here this week as we are working towards finalizing our submission on the HERO-X American-Made Solar Prize contest, and it's in the 5th round, and we actually have a project page over here. So we're currently accepting people to join our winning team. And when I say winning team, we've already established a track record. Even though we're a very new DAO, we actually have our REtoken is going to be featured on the Gitcoin Decentralized Governance showcase winners on October 4th. And I'll actually, on our Trello board here, this is our public Trello board, I'll be sure right here, I've got the card created already, and I'll have a link in this. I'll try to circle back and update the details so that we can make sure that everybody that would like to see us receive the grand prize for the Decentralized Governance Gitcoin Hackathon. Super excited and very honored to be a part of our winning team. And we're looking forward to carrying that winning tradition forward, and with our HERO-X American-Made Solar Prize. So I've got a project page over here on GitHub, and this is one of the tools that we will be utilizing for just bringing the information together. So over here on GitHub, I'm going to make sure that everybody that's on the TokenTown core team gets an invite. I'm actually going to put forward a proposal, and that's one of the things that one of the reasons that I wanted to do the airdrop, because wanted to welcome Everything Blockchain. He's here on the Zoom as CM to our TokenTown winning team, and he received the airdrop for that just literally a few minutes ago on that, and you can see that on the YouTube channel, the video we just uploaded a little bit ago. So anyway, the GitHub is something that, as we are trying to be open and transparent, that's something that we got a little bit of operational experience with the Gitcoin Hackathon, and it's something that we're using right now for tracking the project as far as the TokenTown American-Made Solar Prize Round 5. So how can you join the winning team here? So the main thing is to connect to our Discord server. We have links all over the place for Discord, and then also the joining the official team. We are narrowing down the participants that have actually said, hey, this sounds awesome. And you can see over here our hardware team. Right now, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see it a little bit better. But right now, we've already got 13 people that have gone through and said, hey, I want to be a part of your hardware team. And then also we're bifurcating our submission hardware track and then also a software track. And over here, we've got our team that has signed up on the software track. And that's one of the things going back to our project page. We're working on the narrative, which is one of the components in our submission package, which we've got the details for that here on this GitHub project page as well. So this is what we're going to be working on the next couple of days. We're wanting to have our submission package finalized by October 4th, which is like literally 2 days from now. So one of the other things that we're doing that's pretty exciting, and I think that will add some substantial social proof, and that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about during the working group today, is our NFT launch for TokenTown, Colorado. So TokenTown, we are looking at Colorado for TokenTown, the HOA Destroyer. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about during today's working group. But to go back here to our team page, as you can see, we've got a very strong showing on our teams. And then the thing that's pretty fabulous, these working groups are just getting started. This is literally the first week that we've really started rolling up our sleeves. We have on this GitHub page over here our working group schedule. And make no mistake, this contest, the way that this American-made solar prize contest is structured, this is the ready phase. That's the first of 3 phases that we are looking to. And right now we're working on our submissions between the hardware track and the software track. I believe that our team is poised to knock down both of those, which would, I think, bring in over 100 grand in operating capital to really move these projects forward. And then that's the benefit of participating here now, is that we're going to use the REtoken, our governance token, for REtoken, the Real Estate DAO, to collectively make decisions on moving that forward. And I'm going to digress slightly over here. This is one of our governance tools that we utilize. And as you can see, we have 29 members, and I'm not sure if that's people that have actually clicked the join button here on Snapshot. I don't know exactly what we're up to on the REtoken token holders. And real quick, that's actually something that I want to talk to everybody about here on the Discord currently, because one of the things, now that you are a REtoken holder, everybody that's on today's Zoom is a REtoken holder. And and thanks to Dax for the efforts that he's done to get Collab Land set up. So if you go into the Collab Land, and I don't know when you did this crush yesterday, if you were actually able to join. Let me see real quick. So go ahead and go through this again here, Crush. You should have different results now. And one of the things that you need to do before you do this is you need to make sure that your MetaMask wallet is on the Polygon. Like right now, my MetaMask is on Ethereum. Before you go through the process, you need to make sure to switch it over to Matic Network. And if you don't have Matic Network on your dropdown, you can add that super easily by going to chainlist.org, connect your wallet, and then find Poly. Like Polygon is, oh, I see Amy is joining us. So let me get her in here. So you want to add this one right here, and you got to go connect the wallet like up here. And let me just show you real quick. Super easy. And then add to MetaMask. And I've already got it here, and I'm already on Matic. So I probably didn't do anything. I don't know if it needs to sign something. Anyway, that's a real easy way to get your MetaMask wallet set up so that you can go through the process, because you need to have it before you go do the bot command. And I don't know if you've done that either, Amy. Let me rewind real quick. Let me see over here. Yeah, so let me reset that. So over here, Amy, this is the way Dax got our bot set up. So thank you, Dax, for doing that. And you, in this bot commands channel, if you do the Bane or the exclamation mark join, it'll initiate a opportunity where you can get added as a official REtoken holder. I think that's something that Blur's Day, and you'll get this Discord role added. Like Rhett's got that set up. So again, thanks for Rhett getting that set up. And that's one of the things that my understanding, because now we are also going to have TokenTown DAO and then TokenTown Colorado. And right now, I think it makes sense to keep the community all together here in the Discord. And at some point, if it makes sense to split that off, then we can split that off. So I see Crush going through the process. So if you need any help with that, Amy, we can take that offline, but that's an opportunity to utilize the Discord Collabland bot that Dax got set up for us this week. And that's something that, like, instead of doing an announcement to everyone, we can start sending just an announcement, like if there's a proposal that needs to be voted on in Snapshot, that way that anyway, I'm wanting to get back on track here, though. I wanted to talk about that and thank Dax for getting that set up. So anyway, going back to our agenda over here, I'm going to close out some windows and wanting to make sure that I've got everybody in. I don't see anybody waiting, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I think Zoom's been doing a good job popping up here on my screen for that. I don't know if I can move this little bar over. There we go. I don't want that in that window. All right. So anyway, let's get on to our agenda, looking for that Trello card that I had over here. So one of the things, and I think that actually need to do another step. So one of the things that I'm really hoping to do today is one of the other things that I had, and I think I'm going to add this here to the agenda. So I would actually like to make, and I'm wanting to open this up. So let's see. This is going to be NFT founding citizen benefits. And I'm wanting to send a tweet for what that is to make it very clear, because I'm a huge fan of setting clear expectations. And the more clear that we can be on what these founding citizen benefits will be, the easier I think it'll be provide a very clear understanding. And I'm hoping that we can get that in just like a couple bullet points to circulate via an upcoming tweet on TokenTown DAO. And then that's something that we can start working towards getting whatever. I'm still optimistic about getting some stuff set up with Mintbase. I did get one of the things, and I can't remember if that was something that I showed during the yesterday, but here's Mintbase on the, and that's one of the things that I use profiles. I found that very effective when working with different MetaMask wallets. It's just a very easy dynamic when working with different entities and stuff like that. So anyway, as you can see here, got the tokentown.near wallet set up. I was able to utilize Mrs. Yonk's cell phone for doing that yesterday. They have a little bit more KYC than normal protocols or other wallets. Like MetaMask, for example, doesn't have any type of KYC. Near did require, and that's on near.org is the underlying protocol, and then the wallet for that is a component or integration is wallet.near.org. And you can see here the TokenTown Near account. So anyway, that was something that got set up yesterday. Now I'm just trying to figure out, and this is something that with the legal entity, and I don't know if you all saw that, but I did get a tweet out on that. I'm gonna take a minute to highlight that real quick. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna just take a pause and allow some thoughts to flow as far as just the founding citizen NFT benefits, because that's something that I really, like I said, like to get a couple bullet points just to make it clear via social proof and a tweet on what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and mute and let other people talk here real quick. I guess nobody's being talkative here. I'm gonna get a screenshot with the because I don't think I had this when Amy joined earlier. Let me make sure. So I've got the tweet up here also. So this is the I uploaded the articles of organization. And one of the things you can see here, the organizer of the decentralized autonomous organization is REtoken DAO. And that's something that we can reflect in the operating agreement. And that's something that we'll have more conversation with here later in October after we finalize our submission as far as getting some of that legal paperwork finalized. And that's actually an opportunity that we have within this what do you call it? The contest that we're going through is to potentially get some letters of support from potential attorneys. And I don't know if they would draft that or not, but we have the opportunity to have conversations. I don't think that we'll have much conversations that will result in that between now and October the 4th, because that's what today's the 2nd and the 4th is Tuesday. So we have today, Sunday, and Monday to really finalize on things. So the other thing I posted on this tweet was the certificate of good standing. That's something that is very easy to obtain automatically from the Wyoming Secretary of State for a legal entity. So one of the other things that wanted to do from an entity standpoint is what do you call it? Get the entity in Colorado. Since we're looking to deploy TokenTown in Colorado, it doesn't make sense. Like one of the things that I talked about from a legal entity structuring standpoint was getting this TokenTown DAO that we created yesterday in Wyoming registered as a foreign entity in Colorado, and then that should allow us to have the child or subsidiary DAO. And the thing that I could easily see us doing is do like through TokenTown, the mothership, doing HOA as a service. And this is just kind of to forecast some forward vision and opportunity with structuring it / architecting it the way that we are, is TokenTown DAO could potentially be like HOA as a service or whatever we wanted to call it, just wanting to put that out there so that people can start thinking creatively as far as how that we're structuring that. So anyway, going back to the agenda over here, does anybody have any thoughts or questions real quick on what we've done thus far and where we're working towards? So let's go back to the NFT founding citizen benefits. Let's talk about what we've talked about. So benefits, parameters. Ideally, these will be people wanting to physically live within this new Colorado subdivision. And limiting to 32 people for 32 founding citizens for round one. TokenTown Colorado will develop a hybrid DAO governance model with heavier voting rights granted to NFT holders. TokenTown. Oh, I need to make this shorter. TokenTown. Should we just do a hyphen like -co, or? Is that understood, or?
I think that's probably fine.
Okay. TokenTown CO, where was I going with this one? Will be also the tokenized Web3 community with TTCO. I'm just going to take this. Also tokenized Web3 community. TTCO. NFT. NFT holders will have priority on parcels in subdivision. Was there anything else that have been talking about that isn't included here in these bullet points? NFT founding citizen benefits parameters. Ideally, I'm going to just put ideally will be. And I'm going to put in here, will have conversations about using proof of humanity or right ID, and I'm going to just leave it at that. So proof of humanity or bright ID, because really would like these initial NFT holders to be real people limited to one NFT per real person. To be completely transparent, Tyler and I are each going to obtain one founding citizen NFT just to show that we are personally committed to this project and opportunity. So, and going back to the proof of humanity or bright ID, that's something that is ongoing conversations. Bright ID recently did a very large airdrop for, and one of the, and this is a slight rabbit hole, but a relevant rabbit hole is rabbithole.gg. And that's an opportunity that I think that we as a community should potentially explore. Was having some conversations with Poopster about that here when he was out in town here recently. And it'll be, I don't want to distract the focus of today's working group, but I just wanted to kind of bring that full circle as far as this last bullet point here. We'll have conversations about using proof of humanity or bright ID, just to provide a little. And where I was going with the rabbit hole, like over here in Discord, I'm going to see if I can find it. I've got a lot of servers. I'm going to bring that over here to the screen. So many Discord servers, but I do have the rabbit hat here, rabbit hole. So I am in their Discord and getting started. So rabbit hole uses bright ID. So, you know, whether that would be, anyway, I don't want to get going. Let's go back to the bullet points here. So one of the things that this is important is I'm wanting to do an official snapshot proposal that kind of brings all that we've done in the first Now this is our 5th working group, and then just put that forward, utilize is a nice clean, and this is just trying to practice good governance. And one of the things, like when we are trying to move very quickly, because there was some conversations about like, hey, let's we need to have meetings scheduled 3 days in advance and stuff like that. And when we're trying to work towards a deadline, like today's October 2nd, and we're not anywhere near close enough to being like, as far as having a nice little bow tie and our submission package finalized, it doesn't make sense, because like the working groups that we've got on our proposed working groups, like right now, and depending on how much that we get done today, I might even propose that we have another working group tonight, because honestly, I'm going to be continuing to work on moving this forward, and I would rather hang out with you all and make this conversational and a team effort instead of just me working, because I enjoy hanging out and having the conversations with you here. So anyway, to keep it back on point. So how's everybody? Does anybody have any thoughts on this NFT founding citizen benefits and parameters? Because this is something that I want to package up and put in our official proposal as well. And then also,
I'm sorry I'm late to the meeting, but did the NFT drop yet?
No, it hasn't, and that's I want to get this communicated before we just to make it clear, because again, I like clearly communicating what the benefits are and what the parameters are, so that there would be no opportunity for somebody said, oh well, he said, she said, blah blah blah. That's why I think having it in a clear, concise mechanism like this. Hold on one second. I'm got to take care of something. All right, just wanted to welcome Erica, Boogie Nights, right, Erica, to our Zoom. Are you able to speak, Erica? I don't know if your audio is working.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, this is Boogie. I'm here.
Yes, no, I was welcoming you. Thank you for going through. And Teresa is also here in the waiting room, so I'm going to go ahead and accept her join request to join the team. And let me refresh this real quick. Welcome, Teresa. Thank you for joining the TokenTown team. And one of the things that just to get everybody up to speed, is we were just going through the NFT founding citizen benefits. So this is for TokenTown Colorado, and TokenTown Colorado is going to be, the way that we're structuring that from a legal standpoint is, we've already formed TokenTown DAO in Wyoming as a Wyoming DAO LLC, and already talked about that earlier in today's working group. And then looking to do TokenTown Colorado is a wholly owned sub DAO. And that's one of the things that when we're architecting this, as far as the TokenTown on the software side, we can really think about, like, not just for the American made solar prize project, but one of the things that I like to think about is how can we create scalable solutions. And like TokenTown, the HOA Destroyer, I think already, just in the conversations that I've been having, when I say that alone, people are like, oh really, you've got an answer or a solution for HOAs. I'd love to hear more about that. So the HOA Destroyer is a tagline that is really invoking curiosity for the, what do you call it? Just for people to organically ask more. So going back here to what I'm hoping to finalize right now, and this is something that going to include within the official snapshot proposal, but most importantly, a tweet in the thread that I've been running here on TokenTown DAO, and I'm going to switch over here to that real quick so that everybody, right now we already have 16 followers on TokenTown DAO's new Twitter account, and this is the Twitter thread that I've been running, and I'm going to continue at least sending out one tweet a day on that. So this is going to be, I think, assuming that we create TokenTown and build TokenTown Colorado, this right here, this tweet thread could be potentially the most epic first tweet / crowdfunding tweet thread ever. So excited to, continue to move forward. We've got to circle back to our working groups schedule. We've got another working group scheduled, and depending on how much progress we make today, like I said already earlier, I'm going to be working on this throughout the weekend as far as getting our winning submission package, and we'll talk about that here when we get closer to the end of time today. So circling back to the NFT founding citizen benefits and parameters. So to walk through this, ideally will be people wanting to physically live within this new Colorado subdivision, and limiting it to 32 founding citizens for round one. So the reason for 32 is those that may have not gone far enough down the crypto or Ethereum rabbit holes is 32. Ethereum is working on upgrading their entire blockchain network to Ethereum 2.0, which is mostly a proof of stake dynamic. And in order to set up a node or a validator on their 2.0 architecture, you have to have 32 Ethereum to do that. So that's one of the things that will leave to the decision as far as the 32 people that come together to be NFT holders, founding citizens of TokenTown, Colorado, to really make a decision on how that they want to get a yield on that 32 Ethereum. So to go through limiting to 32 founding citizens for round one, TokenTown Colorado will develop a hybrid DAO governance model with heavier voting rights granted to NFT holders. So that's one of the things that Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, who is unarguably the single largest voice today for Ethereum, and this is something that he was one of the featured speakers at DAO Day in Wyoming. He wasn't live in person, but it was broadcast there. And that was something that I put on my Twitter thread when Poopster and I were in person up in Wyoming last Friday. So he was talking about the benefits of a hybrid governance model. And then one of the other things to keep on moving down the list, it's also going to be a tokenized Web3 community. That's actually something that wanting to get done here during today's working group is we launched TokenTown, the token for the mothership or the master DAO, as you will. That's the entity that we created yesterday during our working group. And then also to have this hybrid governance that we're talking about here for TokenTown, Colorado. Going to have the founding citizen NFT, and then we're going to have the tokenized community. And that's something that have communicated to the people that are here on the TokenTown official team to distribute to the participants on that. So, and I don't know how that the working groups will evolve over time as far as, I mean, we've got a hardware track and a software track, and we don't need to have those conversations, but just thinking out loud. Anyway, and also with that thought, as far as while we're talking about the tokenized communities here, the opportunities again for those conversations too, because what I'm expecting to happen, and this is architected intentionally to happen that way, is that there will be more conversations by TokenTown Colorado, the DAO that will be facilitating, that'll primarily be the people that are these founding citizens. Because again, we're going to architect the governance to be most heavily weighted, because those are people that are putting their skin in the game, putting their one Ethereum, like, hey, I believe in this concept. That being said, we're also architecting this so that TokenTown, the mothership, like has a different focus, if you will. But anyway, I want to continue through these other bullet points here. So one of the other benefits is that the NFT holders will have priority on parcels in the subdivision. So we're wanting TokenTown to be a we're wanting to tokenize through security tokens the REtoken brand. So that's one of the other benefits of this, is that we will be able to utilize, and I want to go back here real quick. One of our, and this is in our Genesis proposal here, hopefully everybody's familiar with what this looks like. So, and this is like one of our founding principles. We will be intentional about developing win-win-win projects. And I think everybody, that's one of the reasons that I think we're all here, is that we see how much win that a project like TokenTown can really create. So also REtoken DAO aims to be, this one right here, become the most prominent and globally recognized real estate tokenization security token brand. And I think that that's really the biggest opportunity that we have by taking this community first approach, is that we can just be intentional about building an amazing community here at REtoken. And that's one of the things, hopefully everybody's seen the roadmap, and that's, I'm super excited about like the roadmap that we've got. And I'm going to digress because, and this is an opportunity, like one of the things that I've already had some conversations about, this was on our community call earlier this week, is that I'm actually wanting to add to Q3 here. One of the things, those of you that have been around conversations that I've had regarding the tokenization of real estate, is I believe by us being very intentional about working with SEC registered solution partners. And those of you that had the opportunity, it was a great conversation that we had with Oasis Pro Markets. I already mentioned too, the, what's it called? Let me actually go over here to our Discord real quick. And let me actually add you to this channel as well, Teresa. Let's see. I don't know if you're online.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, I meant online Discord, but thanks for applying there on the. And let me see if I've got Boogie over here too. So I'm gonna get you that airdrop later tonight, Boogie. So thanks for getting me your wallet address. I would have gotten you included on that last one. Oh, and one other thing too is the way that we've been talking about the social proof for for these two projects is that we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and accept, I don't know who Alonzo is, but I'm going to go ahead and accept him. And that's one of the things that I've been doing for people that I can't necessarily correlate on Discord, is sending them a message here on Hero X as well. But I noticed, I think you, Erica, hadn't signed up for the software prize, and I don't know if you're looking to do another team on the software or what that'll look like. So just putting that out there.
Hey,
that
I'm still trying to figure this all out, yeah. It's extremely confusing for me. So I'm just trying to figure it out and find my place. I did message Mrs. Johnson so that way we can have a little bit of a conversation and try to get things figured out. But hey, I'm doing everything that I know to do. And so if it's the software, then I'll go ahead and get that downloaded as well, because yeah, I'm still a little bit confused.
Yeah, and honestly, that's probably where a good majority of the conversations are going to surround, is the software. Because I mean, we're a community, and we're going to be that doesn't mean that we're not going to be having conversations on the hardware side too. Because like when you think of hardware, just like think of anything that's like a tangible, physical, producible, or dynamic, like building, like developers, or like one of the conversations that having here, and this is another benefit of our proximity in Colorado, is Mosaic Housing is a company that is already working on doing a opportunity zone build. This project came on my radar when Tyler and I were at the Denver Opportunity Zone Expo, and this is another opportunity that's coming up. It's in Nashville in November. I'm planning on attending that personally. I can't remember exactly when the date is, and let me see real quick. I think it's Opportunity Zone Expo. I don't know if it's expo.com or what, but
hey, if any of you guys are available or you're relatively close to Nashville, but then driving or flying distance to Nashville, these conferences are really valuable and they were great. We love the one in Denver, and they put on really, really good shows. So if you are, if any of you guys are available to join, that's they're great.
Oh, and I just got you, or I'm just getting you added here, Erica, to the TokenTown Discord role too. So, and going back, that was a little bit of a tangent, but I am going to be seeing, as far as pitching TokenTown at this America's Top Project. And one of the conversations that I had was with David Silliman, the Easy Do It. Easy Do It is the team behind the Opportunity Zone Club on Clubhouse, and that is really a lot of the origin story for how we got here. Amy, Teresa, and Ryan, who's not with us today, we all came or met each other functionally and mostly through the Opportunity Zone Club on Clubhouse. So the Easy Do It team does a great job hosting the rooms on Clubhouse. I've been so focused on REtoken and TokenTown here, and then traveling in September, that I haven't even had that much time in September on Clubhouse. But anyway, getting back to our agenda here. So anyway, I can't remember if I brought this full circle, the roadmap, but one of the things that we had the conversation on the community call is that I'm actually going to put forward a proposal that and I'm gonna follow the voting proposal process that exists, but this is something that we've already had some conversation about. And this again just shows our commitment to going through and working and basically, I don't know if you've ever heard the term dog fooding, but it's a term that's commonly utilized as far as eating your own dog food. So we've got these social tokens that we minted REtoken on TokenTown. And one of the things that we've already agreed to is to curb any conversations about setting up liquidity or anything like that while we're here in season 0. And going to actually put that forward even and frame it even better is that I think that we have a solid opportunity when we go through these items that are on our roadmap here in Q1, creating a real estate tokenization virtual summit. And the goal of that is to create an amazing event that packages this through the lens of real estate professionals or aspiring real estate professionals. And we really want to decrease or eliminate the barrier of entry, put the virtual summit, create that for a free opportunity, and then do a stair-step value add. And that's something that Amy and I, we both stair-stepped up to crowdcreate.us. They hosted a fabulous CryptoCom here on just a couple days ago. I think it was on Tuesday, September 28th. And I think that that's a similar model that we can deploy for our REtoken Virtual Summit. And then also the one that I'm super excited about, and that's something that we'll have more conversations here about the Virtual Summit, and also about the developing a certificate program for, and again, it's wanting it to be geared more towards real estate professionals. But also one of the things that I believe that's going to happen is that there's going to be kind of this blurring of professionals is that we've known them, instead of being so siloed as it is right now. I really believe that there's going to be kind of this convergence happening with due mostly to digital assets, because some people that are forward thinkers are saying that everything is going to be tokenized. And that's a category that I fall in with myself, because just what I've seen so far in the tokenization of our own community here at REtoken, and the ability to translate that, but most importantly, utilizing true digital assets, security tokens. And when I say true, because one of the things that I believe that's going to happen over time is that as we continue to see the tokenization of businesses and real estate and like regulation crowdfunding, which the reason that Tyler and I are such huge proponents of regulation crowdfunding is because it eliminates that barrier of entry of the accredited investor, and it removes it. And we're wanting to create opportunities. Like one of the things that we're wanting to talk about through the REtoken Real Estate Tokenization podcast is answer the question, how can I invest in real estate for as little as $100? And that's the opportunities that we're wanting to create here through REtoken as well. Because one of the things that we believe that's so awesome about that $100 threshold is that that's really a threshold that a lot of people don't even have to ask their partner or their significant other permission to spend. So that's something that, again, now different people's relationships may differ, but anyway, you can just think about that in your own head, because like one of the differences between tokenization and REITs is like REITs, you don't have as much control over what investment. You're basically investing in a real estate trust. And a lot of times, most barriers of entry for REITs are $1,000. And there's a substantial difference for creating an opportunity for people to invest as little as $100 versus $1,000 or $5,000 or whatever that case may be for REITs, or the very high barrier of being an accredited investor. So anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent. Wanted to talk about it because it is important and relevant. So going back to the agenda here. So I wanted to provide any opportunity, because this founding citizen is, I think, going to be really, so I'm super excited to open up our own wallets and become a founding citizen of TokenTown, Colorado. But I wanted to give other people the opportunity to refine, throw in some additional thoughts on this, because this is something that we're going to be running. I'm going to work on doing kind of a package bundled proposal that we'll put forward to vote on, and have that voting extended through like the community call next Wednesday, because definitely wanting to have a community call this next Wednesday. But anyway, I'm gonna mic up or mute up and let other people chime in here.
Something that's been also citizens of City DAO, and those NFTs are already starting to get resold higher. So they also have basic citizenships for people want Ethereum, it's a little bit too rich, and those are starting to get resold also. So pretty exciting that there's a lot of interest in these types of projects, and there aren't very many projects to go around, and we just have a really cool opportunity on this.
So in having a conversation with a friend about this earlier, I think, but kind of like you just said, Jason, about reducing the barriers to entry. This person was asking about, you know, the actual 1 entry price to get into TokenTown, and you know, so kind of along that same vein, I think that maybe we need to kind of maybe we can refine that and maybe look at it under a different light, because of the fact that I think that there's gonna, first of all, I think there's gonna be more than just 32 people that want to be a part of this. So you know, I think that we should give some consideration to, like, what do we do after we reach 32 Ethereum? Do we maybe fractionalize that even more, or do we just start another node? You know, I think that there's some things that we need to look at there as far as, you know, how do you move forward after the first 32? Because I believe this is going to fill up pretty quickly. So yeah,
I am looking forward to that being a problem that we need to have discussions about. And I think that I mentioned this the other day, is that that's the conversations that I want to allow the group of people that said, hey, this is something that I want to be involved in, and let that grow from there. And then also that's some conversations that we can have through TokenTown, like the mothership that we're creating. And that's one of the things that that we need to think about in like this hybrid governance dynamic that we're creating here, because like we're structuring this where TokenTown DAO, the mothership, and the thing is that like we can get pretty deep in the conversations, but right now I don't think that we have the proper audience here on that, and I don't think it's necessarily, because I'm looking for, I'll be ecstatic, because that will add so much social proof to assuming, and that's one of the things that I'm wanting to like get this launched, so that we can see, because if we could sell out 32 of these founding citizen NFTs by the time that we submit our challenge, that'll just add so much more social proof that this is something that people say, hey, I want to be a part of this, and here's my skin in the game, here's my 1 Ethereum. And that's my thoughts on that, Poopster.
Have we given any more thought to the NFTs that we're going to mint? I shared a minting a minting option with you, I believe. I guess we've already done it on here, right? So we're using Mint-based. But I guess.
Well, and that's one of the things. I don't have enough operational or experience as far as different platforms. One of the things that I want to do is keep it off of mainnet Ethereum, and that's just because it costs a retarded amount to just send stuff and transact there. And I'm really liking what I've seen here so far with Mintbase. And let me open up that as well. So one of the things go ahead.
Yeah, I know I brought this up yesterday, but and I can't remember exactly what the answer to it was, but doesn't this bring up a whole new, like, is everybody else going to have to download a near wallet now? And I think that's like, if we can avoid that, we need to. Like, that's why I want
my expectation is, and my expectation is, Poopster, is like, and that was something that I shared over here on, and I'll bring that up again real quick, on Discord, is looking at the what do you call it, the NFT platforms that integrate with OpenSea.
I understand it integrates with OpenSea, but what I'm saying is that in order for us to hold those, we're still going to have to download everybody's going to have to get a near wallet. So it's just, we're adding one more layer. Like, why wouldn't we do this on Polygon where we already have support set up? It doesn't make any sense to me.
So what one of these platforms that integrate Rarible, Mint-based, Cargo, Mintable, or Zora that are on Polygon?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
So these are the collections that you can mint on, like Mint on Rarible, Mint on Mint-based, Mint on Cargo, Mint on Mintable, or Mint on Zora. But let's actually hold that thought, because
okay.
I wanted to circle back, because again I'm hoping to get some general consensus on the parameters here, these bullet points that I was talking about.
Yeah.
This is.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can I jump in here really quickly, young? I
Absolutely.
think I kind of understand what I think his name is Poopster is saying, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name. I think he's saying that, a lot of people don't want to start new wallets, because after you open up so many wallets, it becomes like, it becomes an issue with it just gets really confusing. So he wants to, I guess, cut down on that. And I think he was suggesting a platform that could be used. Poopster, could you tell us more about, what's going on Python?
No, I don't want to derail. I'm going to go ahead and just do some research myself, and I'll present some stuff to the group later regarding all this.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Poopster, because like we're right now, the point and to circle back to this, and this is, I think, an important aspect, because this is, again, setting clear expectations. Because if you set clear expectations and you communicate those expectations, and that's the whole point of these bullet points here, is so that we can very clearly communicate to the world what our intentions are for these founding citizen of TokenTown, Colorado. So the goal here today is to, after our working group, is to send a tweet with these founding citizen benefits parameters in there. And second of all, to integrate that in a larger proposal for what we've been talking about here through the TokenTown working groups, and then kind of lay that as just to again be transparent of what's been occurring, because I'm fully aware that not everybody has been participating in those, and fully am not expecting people to rewatch the working groups recordings, and that's one of the things that I'm hoping to get uploaded to YouTube here later this afternoon. So anyway,
hey Jason, real quick, can I ask, and anybody who's listening, is there anybody who is maybe thinking about getting a founding citizenship, or is everybody not? Because Jason and I are in for sure, and was wondering if anybody else was considering it or not.
I'm still trying to figure out what all it entails. So like I said, it's everything is all over the place. I kind of know what I know. Like, I understand minting NFTs and I know how to mint something, but I'm still, like I said, just trying to get clarity on the whole thing. So what does it mean to be a founder? To my understanding, we were already made founders. Is this a new project? I'm guessing this is a new project, which is TokenTown, Colorado. And so, yeah, I know I heard something about 1 ETH being involved. So for me, I guess my brain works with more like diagrams and write-ups that, okay, what is the clear picture, the kind of overall goal? Like, I'm getting a better sense of it being on this call, but it's just not something that's been solidified to me from my perspective.
So and that's what I've got in this first bullet point here, is that with this founding citizen, we're hoping that these are people that say, hey, I love the idea of that, because the main underlying goal here is with TokenTown is to create affordable housing that is going to be solar power, and then use that solar power to drive the underlying narrative on affordable housing with crypto mining operations. And that's what we're calling Crypto House. And we haven't had hardly any conversations on this yet, and I don't know if we will for the submission, even for the ready phase on this contest. But anyway, like, these founding citizens are people that say, hey, I'm open to the idea of living in Colorado. I like what's occurring with TokenTown. And then the thing that's fabulous about this too is that we're really wanting to create a mechanism, and this is actually one of the things that I'm going to actually add in here. We'll have conversations about, I'm going to put 1, using social proof, Bright ID, 2, rage quit. And for people that aren't familiar with rage quit, that's like, say the direction starts going in a different, and you're like, okay, well, I'm out. And then that's the opportunity where you can take your 1 Ethereum and peace out, kind of like leave. And I think that that's a functionality, if I'm understanding correctly, in DAO House. Rage quit feature 3, asking for people to commit 6 months, i.e. till April 1st, for developing TokenTown, Colorado. So wanted to add a little bit more parameters on conversations about that. And again, the expectation is that those are conversations that can and should be facilitated by the people that have the skin in the game, that are the founding citizens. So that to answer your question there, Eric, and I see Blurs is popping in here, so just letting him in. So does that help to provide a little additional clarity? So TokenTown is a project by REtoken, and then in turn, TokenTown Colorado is a child DAO, or that's actually, because we're wanting to architect this where TokenTown DAO can be like the mothership or the management company, because I believe that with what we're creating here is to provide a framework, because at the end of the day, I think there's HOAs that don't like how that they're operating, or they're frustrated, and I think that this is something longer term, not necessarily that we need to think about within the parameters of the American Made Solar Prize, but just again, and to be clear, regardless of what happens with the American Made Solar Prize contest, this is a project that Tyler and I are personally committed to. We see this as the best vehicle forward for realizing a place for us to personally live in ourselves, and that's still a need. I mean, we're getting ready to bounce up to Chicagoland and our rental property there. Longer story, but we love Colorado, and Colorado is where we call home. So does that? Go ahead,
Hey,
Tyler.
Can I
sorry,
ask a question? Oh, go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, no, it's Tyler. I wanted to add one kind of follow-up thing on this is right now, a lot of people are doing a lot of work to earn retokens, and as of right now, they don't have any financial value. But if the retoken community becomes a community with a reputation for developing financially viable and super interesting projects, then these social tokens will become worth something financially. And it's, I mean, I saw this meme the other day from like 2009. There's some video game tournament that said third prize was 25 Bitcoins because it didn't matter. Like they were just handing them out like candy. And all of a sudden, I mean, that'd be really nice to have right now. So our long-term goal, and the reason why we're giving out retokens for all the work that everybody's doing, is with the hope that as we develop real projects with real financial situations and real assets, and we start actually cash flowing in, that your retokens that you're adding that are currently worth nothing will become worth something. And you can either cash them out for money, or you can trade them for whatever you want. That's the goal.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, absolutely, Amy.
Okay, on your TokenTown Colorado, the NFT that you're fixing to launch, the 32 NFTs, is that basically for people that want to live there? You're offering it to them. If I don't get the chance to buy one, does it affect any of the things that I'm doing right now?
No, and that's kind of how that we're architecting this too, Amy. Those are great questions. And one of the, I think, the opportunities too, and I don't want to really talk too much about that, but the biggest, I think this right here will be the biggest benefit, is having the priority on, and of course, I'm just wanting to put that out there as a simple bullet point, but I think that is going to be the single benefit, besides, like getting some yield. And I mean, there's opportunities where you can get yield on your Ethereum, but we're wanting to create a mechanism here where it's not just like, okay, well, because this isn't, and maybe I don't know. Do you think that I need to add that as a bullet point for clarification, that we're not looking to utilize any of the Ethereum, that we're looking to do this for any of building out the project? And I'm just talking out loud here. But like, well, let me see if that answered your question first, Amy. Did that clarify for you?
I think what I really wanted to clarify when you said TokenTown NFTs for your project in Colorado, it means that this idea can be transferred to Memphis, can be transferred to California. That's what I wanted to identify, is if I don't buy in this Colorado project, but there is another project I want to buy into, that is fairly okay, isn't it? I mean, we're going to grow nationwide and worldwide. And that's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to, yeah, I'm thinking this project that you have the 32 NFTs is just for your Colorado project. It's not for the main company, right?
Yeah, this is not the end all. So yeah, and Colorado is designed to be the model, partially because we're here, and partially because it's a state that's very favorable to cooperative housing and other regulations that make it interesting from a financial perspective. And there's a huge crypto community here. So those three things are part of all why we chose it. But yeah, we want this to be a model. And if you want to anchor TokenTown Memphis, we would love that. Or wherever we have somebody that really wants to take the lead on this thing, we want to build this out in any city that has a person that wants to develop it. We would love that.
And that's absolutely how we're structuring this. That's why we have TokenTown DAO, and look at that as being like the mothership. And that's again a whole subsidiary that's owned by REtoken, and that's one of the things that we'll finalize from the legal standpoint here later this month to make sure that that's reflected. And then going back, and you can see here the TokenTown legal entity structuring. Like, this is something that we completed during our working group the other day. I already spoke about the tweet that I sent out that showed the articles of organization, the Wyoming DAO that we registered. And then here is the other two steps that we still need to complete, is that we're planning on registering TokenTown DAO LLC, the Wyoming DAO, the mothership, as you will, as a foreign entity here in Colorado. And then we're wanting to register this TokenTown DAO, Colorado TokenTown DAO LCA PBC, and that's a Colorado Limited Cooperative Association operating as a public benefit corporation. And for those that aren't familiar with the B Corp, is that the B Corp, that's where you can tap into the additional opportunities where you can become a certified B Corp, which I don't know if people are familiar with that, but it's just another opportunity where we can use the logo. If you've ever seen this, that's what the logo looks like. So that's just another branding opportunity where we can say, hey, we're doing a business that looks, and this, where that fits in goes back to, again, like our one of our founding principles is to do projects or be intentional about being involved or creating projects that really look at this, where is it at on here? The win-win-win. And public benefit corporations are required to, within their articles of organization, their founding documents, have the win-win-win component baked in there organically. So does that answer your question?
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Erica, please.
So I've never seen the snapshot. Can you put that in the Discord? Because I think that would be very helpful. Like, I think that maybe there should be a Discord channel set up so that way new people can kind of get acclimated and kind of understand, maybe like, hey, start here.
Yeah,
and I mean, I did
it's
that,
actually called start here, and the very first Genesis proposal, that's linked right here.
Right. Okay. But see, I didn't know what a Genesis proposal meant. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
no,
like,
but if you clicked on it, this is now the second time that I'm talking about it. So
no, I'm sorry. So hold on, yeah. Hold on. So what I'm saying is, people that don't speak your language don't know what you mean. You understand what I'm saying? So you have people coming in like myself, right? I can only speak for me, honestly. I don't really speak the language. So it's like, okay, here are the founding principles. If you can kind of lay that out a little bit more clearly, I think it would help new people as they come along. That wasn't really my question. My main question is, when it comes to the documents and creating the DAOs and creating the LLCs, who all is designated to be like on the operating agreement or on the articles of incorporation, or even like if we're doing a settlement statement on the property,
Hey,
who's
Erica,
involved with that?
Here, I got this, Tyler. So that's a great question. And the thing that's fabulous about how that we structured TokenTown, and I'm actually going to go over to the tweet that I did on that, so that you can actually see right here, because this has got the, and I'm gonna make this bigger. I'm gonna see if I can hide. Oh, So I don't know if that's coming in. I could probably find the image over here to make it a little bigger to show you. So the way that we structured TokenTown DAO is that the benefit of the Wyoming DAO LLC is it allows for either member managed or algorithmically managed. It can be one of the two. And based upon the experience that we've already garnered for setting up the DAO here through REtoken, we also have the DAO hack. Those are tokenized Web3 communities. So one of the things that did on TokenTown is leveraging the experience that we garnered. We were actually able, and I'm gonna bring this a little bigger over here, and let me zoom into this. So in this additional article right here, Article 6, TokenTown DAO LLC is an algorithmically managed, decentralized, autonomous organization. The notice of restrictions on duties and transfers appear in the operating agreement. TokenTown DAO LLC is governed using a link to the snapshot for TokenTown DAO with contract address, which is the social token, governance token that we created, and there's where it can be viewed. So that's something that we put in, and that will allow us to be an algorithmically managed DAO utilizing, and you can go back here to snapshot, and if you do a search for TokenTown, you can see we have TokenTown. TokenTown is, and we don't have any proposals on here yet because we literally just spun this up during our working group yesterday. So this is how, and that's the URL, and I'll throw it in the chat here too. Where everybody can see it. And this is, again, one of the things I'm going to work on, putting a nice little bow tie on a proposal here later today, as far as some of the stuff, just to bring it in full circle, and also just to do a good job kind of documenting what we've done. And then like anything that's not been done yet, like going back to the founding citizen bullet points. And does that help provide some clarity on that question, Erica?
It does, but I do have another question. So on the document, it showed you yourself as the only signer, right? So what about other founding members of the organization who, you know, why is it just one signature? And I'm just asking to get clarity because, you know, I do business. So does that mean that anything that goes on, you're the sole person that can sign off on it? As far as dealing with the state, because again, this is purchasing property from my understanding, or creating opportunities to purchase property. So does that mean that everything goes back to you, just the one person? And, you know, what if something happens to you? Who then has the power to come in and sign? And, you know, like it's a lot of things that go into an order of operations. So where are the other officers or like articles of organization and things like that?
So this is the articles of organization. This is in its entirety right here.
But what about other members that should be on there?
That's where the algorithmically managed component comes into play here. So we have architected here that people that are participating in the working groups will be rewarded REtoken. So utilizing the decentralized autonomous framework that Wyoming has outlined within their Wyoming DAO LLC, that is the parameter. So, and to be clear, TokenTown DAO, this is like the mothership. We're not actually planning on purchasing property or doing anything through this entity, and it probably won't even be the DAO, the HOA DAO there in Colorado, because there'll be multiple entities involved with bringing TokenTown to fruition. Like, and that'll actually be going back to, it's not really any more or less complicated than that, is that we're creating the tokens here for TokenTown DAO. T-Town is the token that we minted for that, and the governance is going to be facilitated through the governance mechanisms that we create. And it'll probably be a similar mechanism that we've used, because the general consensus from people that have been involved with the voting proposal mechanism that we've been using for REtoken probably just follow a similar one. It seems to be working well. The community is growing. That's evidenced by, we've got 9 people here on Saturday afternoon hanging out to focus on creating TokenTown, Colorado. Well, in TokenTown, and most importantly, creating winning submissions for the American-made Solar Prize contest that's hosted on HeroX.com.
Okay, so I hope you understand my questioning, right? It's okay. We live in the world, right? And so in my company, there's a succession plan. There's, hey, if something happens to person X or person B or person Z, this goes through this chain of command or this type of structure. From what I can see, we don't have that. And so that makes it a little bit more risky, right? Because I'm just wondering, how can we develop
when you
a structure?
When you say risk, what risk has anybody put forward except for hanging out here on a Zoom today?
No.
So,
well, hold on. I'm not just talking about now. I'm talking about what happens in the next 10 years or 5 years or 100 years. Like, how does this work? Like,
well,
long term?
to be clear, we literally filed our articles of organization yesterday. So like whatever company that you're operating in today, they didn't get to where they are today overnight. And this is all an ongoing work in progress of what we're creating with REtoken and TokenTown. And, you know, like that's all conversations that will unfold. And I'm wanting to bring it back on point because the purpose of the conversation here today is to talk about launching or getting our submission package for the challenge contest and the particularities of the, I mean, we've already had a lot of working groups on like, I would encourage you to watch our tokenomics. It's very, very dry, but that could potentially answer some of the questions because we've got all three of our tokenomics working groups for REtoken hosted on YouTube, and that might provide some backstory to answer some of the questions that you're asking right now. So that's basically what the DAO is. And to go back to the articles of organization, Wyoming requires somebody to be listed as far as a point of contact. And like I personally spent $100 to execute the articles of organization because right now we don't have any, like we don't even have a traditional bank account for REtoken yet. We haven't still finalized our operating agreement for REtoken yet. We don't have an operating agreement in place for TokenTown DAO yet. That being said, that's something that we're going to have some conversations with here in October after because again, the purpose of today's working group is to move forward the conversation so that we can finalize a submission package for the TokenTown projects on both the hardware track and on the software track for the American-made Solar Prize Round 5 that we're working towards.
So can I just say, you know, I understand that you guys are kind of working towards some other things, but to me, this is very important. I don't mind helping getting the operating agreement structured because we can build all of this beautiful, amazing, all these beautiful and amazing things. But if we don't take the time to secure it and really lay a strong foundation, it's risky, right? Like it to me. I just don't see.
I would encourage you to really assess when you say risky. There's nobody that's put any money into this deal except for Tyler and I. So that's something that
I understand that part, but what I'm saying is, I mean, it's even risky for you guys. So
I don't feel that it's risky. So I mean, and that's the benefit of like us creating the DAO LLC and other stuff. So again, to be clear, Erica, these are already conversations that have happened. And we are planning on having more conversations about that after we get our submission package finalized. So we don't need to have an operating agreement. Like when we look at the requirements for this, we have 6 things that we need to look at here for the submission package. We probably didn't even need to have a legal entity for TokenTown, or we probably don't need to have a legal entity for TokenTown Colorado. I would imagine that probably a good portion of the people that are submitting in this ready phase probably don't. There's not any requirement here. And again, the purpose of these working groups is to work towards finalizing a submission package. Today's October 2nd. We need to have this done by October 4th. So I'm going to reel this conversation back. We are planning, and we've got all of that referenced on our Trello board. I mean, There's been ongoing conversations about the operating agreement specifically. So I'm in complete agreement, but again, to make good use of the time today for the working group, and I will disagree. I don't feel that what I put forward, I'm at risk. And that's one of the reasons, to go back to the thing that I was talking about earlier, as far as finalizing on the NFT founding citizen benefits. And that's one of the reasons that I want to have the some initial framework from a legal standpoint, because the people that are putting the one Ethereum forward, they'll have a little bit more risk than anybody else that's on this call right now, because nobody else has put one Ethereum into the project. And that's why we're architecting this, so that the people that are putting that skin in the game, the one Ethereum, they can be having the conversations as far as what they're going to do with the 32 Ethereum, or what that's going to look like as far as creating the community that they are saying, hey, this is something that I believe in. I'm putting some skin in the game. So those are the people that have the most risk. But wanting to bring it back.
Well, I just want to say, Youngs, I'm just asking questions, right? I feel like we're all a part of the team. I know when I was brought on, you said, hey, come be a part of the team. So I'm just trying to contribute where I can.
I appreciate that.
And learn at the same time, right? I don't know everything about what's going on, but I do understand business and structuring. And I think that this is something powerful that we all have here. So, you know, for me, anytime I'm doing business or going into the public to do business, if I haven't structured the company properly, it is risky to me in my line of business, simply because, you know, things can get stolen, things can get mixed up. And so, you know, that's all I'm saying. You know, it's all out of a good heart and pure heart. And, you know, I love this situation, so I don't want to, you know, cause any strife. I'm just asking questions to make sure, right? I believe that's a part of teamwork. So thank you so much for kind of explaining it and showing the documents. We'll definitely talk about this later on. And, you know, I agree. Let's focus back on, you know, getting this project completed. So that's all, Jans. It's all up.
Yeah, and let me,
Erica,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Poopster is trying to speak, but he can't. And he said that he can have a conversation with you if you're interested regarding how the DAO works.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much, Poopster.
Are you able to chime in, Poopster?
No, he can't for some reason.
It looks like he's got an open mic right now on my on the participant screen right here.
Yeah, he does, but it's just not working.
I don't know what to say on that. I don't think it's as anyway. So to be clear, like we have, and I mean, we also have a possible attorney. So I just did a quick search on operating agreement here. And, you know, like this is one of the things. So there's multiple places that the operating agreement shows up here. And that's one of the things that we're wanting to have conversations with not only attorneys here in Colorado, but also in Wyoming. So to be clear, I'm not avoiding the question. It's just not relevant for the finalization of the package here. Yeah, we can hear you now, Poopster.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just wanted to jump in real quick. I think Erica, one, she brought up some good points, Jason, and I don't want to derail the meeting. Just want to say that a lot of the words and acronyms that we use are very foreign to most people, and we don't realize it. Even just some of the basic stuff that we say. I think it might be helpful if we could provide some, maybe in the Discord, a channel where we can define some commonly used terms or answer questions about stuff like that, because it is very hard to keep up if you don't know what people are talking about. You get lost trying to figure out what one word means. Secondly, Erica, I think that the questions you had regarding like the structure of how all this is going to go, you know, if Jason were to die or whatever, that's all going to be answered by us, the community, right? So like that's something that's going to be, we're in the very early stages of launching this DAO, this organization, and we're still implementing a lot of our core structure. So that'll be something that we're working towards now, and that the DAO will kind of decide going forward. Like this is something that the people who are participating and getting these retokens for participating will be having the say so on like how the DAO operates and who we decide to but it is a decentralized autonomous organization. So it's not just Jason isn't in charge of anything. He isn't running anything. He's just the one who's basically taken the initiative to do, from what I've seen, 90% of the work so far. So with that being said, Jason, I'll let you get back to what you were talking about. And once again, if anybody has any questions regarding DeFi, regarding DAOs, any of this, anything on the kind of technical side of things for cryptocurrency, or how any of that works, please reach out to me. You can ping me on Discord, or I'm happy to help answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Poopster. I appreciate you.
Sure.
And I was taking your cue. I was actually just updating like what's one some of these bullet points over here, like mission, founding principles, etc.
Well, just like she said, she didn't know what a Genesis proposal was, and that can be like I can understand that too. Like, and yeah,
hey,
sure.
How about this, Erica? If you have time, why don't you just copy and paste this into something else and just draft it the way that you feel like you would have understood it if you're reading it for the first time, and then send it to us, and let's see if we can figure out some language that's a little bit more welcoming to people that don't always know what we're talking about. But do you have time to do that?
I'd be happy to do that. I
All right,
think
cool.
me and Youngs kind of spoke about that in our first conversation. Like, how can we kind of drill it down to where a first grader can understand it? And then, as we gain understanding, then they can grow into smart, intelligent people like you guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you want to take that on, that would be super helpful. And then we will know exactly what language you feel like you would have liked to see, and then we can work with that.
Yeah, and one of the things too, as you've probably started to see, I'm super committed to getting on camera and making some how-to videos, or do like one of the things over here that I've been working on doing is a bunch of how-to stuff. Because at the end of the day, as you know, Erica, a business, like the reason that McDonald's is the largest maker of hamburgers globally isn't because they have the best damn hamburger. It's because they have the best business and systems processes. And that's what, yeah. So everybody that's eaten a McDonald's hamburger can attest it's definitely not the best burger. But that being said, like, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see this a little better. But like here, like how to, like I've got how to create an event. It's a fairly simple process, and this is actually something that I could refine because I've actually been using the dashboard via a website. So that's one of the things that, or how to create a POAP for an event. This is kind of a work in progress. So like, we love our POAPs here. I've got a solid collection going. Like we've got a POAP for today's event. So that's something that I'm personally committed to doing. And that's something, like creating processes on how to do stuff that I'm doing to facilitate hosting the meetings and stuff like that. But anyway, I wanted to give the opportunity for everybody that's on here right now, because this to me is the most important conversation for today's agenda, is to finalize on the NFT founding citizen benefits and the parameters of that. I feel really good with what we've got here, but I wanted to give final opportunity for everybody to chime in on these bullet points. And I'll just, if somebody wants to speak up, I'm going to just go through, read them again. So again, the founding citizen benefits parameters, it'll ideally be people wanting to physically live within this new Colorado subdivision, limiting to 32 founding citizens at, I'm going to add at 1 ETH each, at 1 ETH each for round one. TokenTown Colorado will develop a hybrid DAO governance model with heavier voting rights granted to NFT holders. And again, this is to give the people that, because this is one of the things, and true story. I mean, like, and I'm gonna go off on this tangent here because it's a tangent worth speaking about, and this is probably the founding citizen NFT that Tyler and I were speaking about earlier. So this is literally the only NFT that I've bought or that we've bought. It was 2.25 Ethereum. So that's 2.25 times what we're creating here. They had 50 founding citizens, and the way that they structured their governance was that the people, and let me see if I can see the other collections here. So let me click on City DAO. I think that this will take me to other. So City DAO also has a first citizen, and then they also have a normal citizen. And the way that they have their governance structured right now is the people that are regular citizens, they have the same voting rights that I do. And that's a little frustrating because our citizen NFT cost 2.25, and the people that got theirs for 1/4 Ethereum or 0.1 Ethereum have the same voting rights. And to me, that's a little frustrating because I have more skin in the game. So that's one of the things that we're leveraging what we learned from that. We're wanting this to just be a simple dynamic. 32 Ethereum or 32 people at 1 Ethereum each. So anyway, so that's about the hybrid governance and a little backstory. So also tokenized Web3 community. And that's one of the things that we've got on our agenda here. And I'm pretty confident that we can get a couple of these other things done here. But it's also going to be a tokenized Web3 community. And that's one of the things that have been communicating here for the people that are participating in this, is that we're going to be equally rewarding 50 REtoken for the working group participants for TokenTown, 50 REtoken, 50 TokenTown, and 50 TokenTown Colorado. So, you know, these are fun social tokens right now. Already talked about wanting to roadmap, and that's something going to be running through the voting proposal process, REtoken, to do a legitimate security regulation crowdfunding security offering for Q3 2022. Anyway, going back here to the NFT founding citizen benefits parameters. So talked about the also tokenized Web3 community, and then NFT holders will have priority on the parcels in, I'm going to add here real quick in this tokenized subdivision. And the tokenized is an important component because really that's the underlying goal that I think when we build TokenTown Colorado, that this can be, again, I believe that what we're creating here can be one of the most epic crowdfunding stories of all time. We build TokenTown Colorado in a tokenized community that can add so much validity to the opportunity that security tokens, digital assets provide. Because what we'll do here when we execute on TokenTown, we'll be flipping the entire legacy capital model on its head. Because instead of like going to the banks or other parties or whatever to get money, we're going to be doing crowd-funded initiatives. That's the key, the regulation crowdfunding that will create the opportunity for this to be a truly community owned and operated. Now, that's one of the things that I'm really expecting us over time to develop. And that's one of the things that having conversations through TokenTown and TokenTown Colorado, because again, the conversations that happen here may be slightly different than the conversations over here. And looking forward to having more of those conversations. And I'm looking forward to, we don't need to have those here during our TokenTown working groups, because again, those are conversations that will occur organically through these other governance models that we're creating here. So going on to the next component. Well,
can I say something, Jason?
Yes, please, Amy. Thank you.
Just real quick. I know that you're just thinking about right now. If it so happen in the future, you have 20 sites, you know, these TokenTown sites in Colorado, how are you going to name the others? Or is this TokenTown Colorado over all of those 10? I'm just trying to picture this in my head because there's so many census tracts in the opportunity zone. And there's a lot of towns that we could set up these subdivisions. And that's why I'm asking you what those is for. Is it for people that are actually gonna live in there? If that is the case, then you need to name the token under either the county or the city that you're setting up your token town. Like, be more specific, because you can have 20 of this in Colorado and 20 of this in Tennessee, 20 of this in Arkansas. You don't know. That's what I'm trying to picture, how you're gonna, in a flow chart, how this is gonna look like. Now, if TokenTown Colorado is over all of the sites in Colorado, I might think of investing that one east. But if it's just for a one parcel of land in a subdivision, thinking that in the future there would be other token town, I don't know how you'll name it, but I just wanted to make sure that when we build something, we start, I know we're starting small, but we have to have this idea of how we'll grow that, like you say, organically in the future. So I just need to get a picture, because when you say Colorado, that's the whole state. Are we just having one project?
It is.
One state?
It is the whole state, and that's because we don't know and where it's going to be. Like that's going to be a process that will be facilitated through these 32 founding citizens of doing, and that's more down the road. So in order to create a mechanism that we can operate in, now TokenTown Colorado, that doesn't have to be set in stone. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a legal entity, but as you know, things can be renamed, or you can do DBAs, or there's lots of opportunity. And as far as the token that represents it, we need to have some type of mechanism like snapshot, so that we can start out of the gate. And that was also, it was a little bit more necessary with the Wyoming DAO LLC that we did the tokenized community, because the benefit of doing the tokenization and setting up snapshot before we went through the process, and I'll bring that open again here, because like right now, we've got REtoken that is a member managed DAO LLC. So that's something that I'm going to have to go back and file an amendment. And that's something that there's going to be a forthcoming proposal to talk about, doing the amendment where we switch from a member managed DAO LLC, I'm talking REtoken, to algorithmically managed. And that was the benefit of using the experience that we are already garnered, and the ability to quickly spin up a token and then launch snapshot. Now we've got our articles of organization for TokenTown DAO, and think of that as the mothership or the management. So
Can
going back,
you explain what that difference is?
the difference of what,
And-
Teresa?
Algorithmic, determining who the founding members are versus the people who founded it.
That's the thing. Like I'm getting frustrated with the conversations as far as founding members, because the thing is that the people that are participating will have that'll happen, and that's one of the things that we have talked about with the board of stewards implementing here within REtoken. So the people that are participating in the events, they will organically have more, and this is kind of like what Vitalik alluded to as far as a reputation mechanism. So the way that we're structuring, because like one of the challenges with token, and this is the benefit of also not having our tokens available for purchase on a third party dynamic, is that we have been very steward through the mechanisms that we've agreed upon, rewarding REtoken in an agreed upon manner, being good stewards of our social tokens. There's not an opportunity for somebody to go buy 5 million REtoken. And I'm actually somewhat glad, looking in retrospect, that we didn't necessarily win the seed club opportunity, because like when you think of 3% of our tokens, that's like, how many tokens is that? 300,000? And like right now we have, I think we just here with the airdrop that did earlier today or yesterday, we've only distributed 5,000 of 10 million tokens that we minted. So the the algorithmically managed, we're out of the gate with TokenTown, and the ticker for that is T-Town. So anyway, going back to the bullet points here, because I feel that we got a little bit off track here. So, and then the final one is having the conversations about using proof of humanity or Bright ID, rage quit feature, and then asking really for people to commit to 6 months, because the benefit of the 6 months is it's going to take some time between now. I mean, like, we won't even get a determination on whether we win the American Made Solar Prize until sometime in December, and then, you know, having conversations. It's going to take a while to where, but that's the thing, is that we can have a lot of conversations in a short period of time. That's been demonstrated here with what we've done this week for moving TokenTown forward. But anyway, I'm wanting to give everybody one last opportunity here, because I feel really good. This is now, I think, the third time during our working group today, as far as getting everybody on the same page as far as the founding citizen benefits for TokenTown, Colorado. And I'm going to actually add just an additional bullet point on this here. Note applies only to TokenTown, Colorado. So does that help to provide some clarity, Amy? Like, to go back to your thought, yes, absolutely. Like, I'm hoping that.
I think I understand that we can always change the name later on, because I see this project just booming. And I was like, well, is Colorado going to be over, TokenTown, Colorado, going to be over all the projects in Colorado? If that's the case, then I will put in my 1 ETH right now. But if you're talking about just one specific subdivision, and I might not be living in that subdivision, that's a different story. It's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and one of the things here that's worth mentioning, and we've had some conversations if you can remember or not, but like, that's the beautiful thing about security tokens and digital assets, is it's kind of like Play-Doh. We can kind of create whatever we want. And one of the things that's very typical in development projects is a development fee. And that's one of the things, you know, I don't know what these conversations are going to look like as far as bringing in people that have expertise developing. And that's one of the things, as everybody knows, I operate very transparently. So that's one of the other benefits, that people that have committed to joining our official team, like we had the backroom conversation with OpenSea Markets, or Oasis Pro Markets, and Wes from Oasis Pro Markets is a huge fan of TokenTown. He's already making some introductions to me with some other projects that may be aligned, just to fill in some of the additional components on the software side for what we're looking at architecting here. So the big benefit, again, of these NFT holders is the ability, because I mean, when we're talking about potentially developing, and here in Colorado, most of the parcels are 40 acres, and that's just has to do with how land laws are, because Tyler and I have already looked at buying parcels here in Colorado already. And the biggest opportunity isn't necessarily for only people to be potentially a homeowner, but there will be some opportunities, I imagine, within this to develop a business or something else. And again, we're wanting every opportunity in TokenTown to be tokenized through the REtoken digital asset securities process that we'll be architecting. And that's one of the things that super excited. Most of these technology solution partners have white label capabilities. So we will be able to create a REtoken branded experience. One of the conversations that I'm really looking forward to is the one that's coming up here on, and I'm going to bring this open here, is the discovery call with John Nance. And I don't know if I have a thread on Discord, but one of the things, John Nance is, he's a Colorado, I think he said he was in Boulder for 5 years. I don't know if he graduated from CU, but so John and Dealbox is like a front end. So the thing that's fabulous about this is that we have the opportunity to have these conversations where these solution partners can showcase their tools, because that's the the beautiful thing about us taking a community first approach is that we don't need to reinvent the wheel all ourselves. We can, right now, we can put together other people's solutions, and it's kind of like just putting Lego boxes together of other people's solutions and then making a nice front end where it creates a REtoken experience for people that want to invest in the security tokens that we will be creating here through building TokenTown. So going back here, again, final thoughts on the, I'm wanting to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to voice theirs, because where we're gonna go with this is gonna go out on a tweet. And then one of the things, like, we only have 10 minutes left of our working group here today. This is the most important component that I wanted to get done. One of the things I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to propose, since we're running short on time here, that we host another working group tonight. Again, I'm going to be working on this. I enjoy hanging out with you all. This is, you know, that way I'm not operating in a vacuum. I'm moving this stuff forward. One of the things I'm going to do between bringing closure to this working group today, working group 5, and assuming that we reconvene here later this afternoon or this evening, I'm going to be seeing more as far as the NFT, doing more research, because I would really like, between now and this next working group, get this tweet out on that TokenTown DAO Twitter thread that I've been sending tweets out on already, so that we've got it there on Twitter as far as what we're communicating. The other thing that I'm also going to be working on between now and I'm going to wait, because you just got me your crypto wallet address. I'll do a VIP, Erica. If you want to hang out with me on a live stream, I'll do a special live stream here this afternoon with you, so that we can do an airdrop to welcome you officially. That will be the first time that you'll be a REtoken holder. And the reason that I want to do that is so that you, Erica, can vote in our upcoming proposals that we're going to be putting forward on Snapshot.
Okay, awesome. So with regard to the NFT citizen benefit parameters,
I'm hearing robot Erica. I don't know.
I can't get it. Oh,
You broke up.
hold on.
You're sounding better now.
Is that better?
Yeah, try again.
So, okay, so I'm looking at number 4 on the agenda, the NFT founding citizen benefits and parameters. So maybe put in a clause that says, you know, benefits, you know, are growing, or benefits we have the right to edit these benefits because it is so new. So maybe put a deadline to say, okay, we have, you know, a month to kind of edit these benefits, right? So that way people know, as we're kind of making changes and learning this area, I think if we give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room, it'll be helpful, right? Because so from what it looks like, they will have priorities on parcels in this tokenized subdivision. So from this, are we taking the 32 ETH to actually invest in an actual subdivision, or are we buying land? Like what's happening inside of this, right?
The 32 Ether is just a signal. It's like kind of like saying, here's my commitment. I am committing by putting this 1 Ethereum into the group's wallet, which it'll then go to power an Ethereum node. That I'm committing this myself to being one of the founders. That's what it's saying. It's not going to be used for the actual investment. It will earn a little bit of a return, being that it's you know, running an Ethereum node, so it'll be earning Ethereum. But yeah, it's just a signal, like Jason said.
Okay, so a signal means it's basically an entry to get this particular token.
It's reserving your spot, yeah.
To make it official.
It's like reserving your spot as a founder, basically. And
okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's reserving.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jason.
Anything
Is that your idea regarding that? That's what I took it as. Yeah.
Jason, can you go to the site where it mentions the 32 Ether and what that does? Can you hear me?
I think he might be having technical issues.
I had myself on
There
mute.
you go. There you go.
So I'm not sure what you're referring to. This is the only time that we've bulleted what the founding citizen benefits are. This is the only place that exists now. And one of the things to it was good that you asked that question, because I that was something that I think that had been verbally communicated, and I think does this answer this well here in this? Oh, here, let me right here, Erica.
Jason, can you go to the Ethereum website that mentions the 32 Ether and what that does on their end, what it's for?
So it's just I'll look that up offline. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the founding citizens to decide on what they're going to do with the 32 ETH, and that's what I put this in here for, is that the 1 ETH is our skin in the game signal, and I'm going to just put and instead of and the, just because again, this is stuff that needs to be communicated. I'm wanting to send a tweet on this, and that's already probably going to be. And founding citizens will collectively decide on how to earn yield with the 32.
Hey, Teresa, there's some different ways you can do it. It's basically a crypto equivalent of parking it in a super high yield investment account in crypto world. So if the 32 people who put the Ethereum in want to do that, we can set it up. If they say no, we don't want to do that, they're just basically buying the rights to the votes. They're not buying the actual land. The land is something else. Because you can't, I mean, at 32 ETH is somewhere around $100,000. That's not enough to buy a parcel.
Yeah,
Teresa, yeah, Teresa has the right site. I sent a link in the Discord for anybody that's that has questions regarding the 32 Ethereum and running an Ethereum node. It's posted in the general REtoken DAO chat.
Okay, so is this kind of like creating a bond or setting up an investment account? It, you know, it has to have a certain amount of funds in it to be taken seriously.
Exactly right.
Just required to run an Ethereum node. 32 Ethereum are required. So yeah.
Okay,
You can find the information right there on what I posted in the Discord. All the link to all the info is right there.
Okay, understood. So one more thing, right? So they're getting the opportunity that like it's making an investment. Okay, great. So what if maybe there should be a clause in there that says, hey, if we don't reach 32 ETH, then the creators of this DAO will have the power to, to fill in the rest of the votes, or, you know what I'm saying? Like secondary voting members or secondary voting rights, just in case. Does that make sense?
Nobody's going to commit. Nobody's committing anything until we get the 32 Ether, though, right? It's not like we're just going to start sending them. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Jason, go ahead. Sorry.
No, what I was going to go to answer, like, because the this all needs to fit within a tweet or two. So that's the main thing, is that we're wanting this to be just not too much, but also clearly communicate our expectations. And this might be 2 or 3 tweets itself as far as the this. And that's one of the things that the main thing for this is to get it within a tweet on this Twitter thread that's been running for functionally launching of TokenTown. And this will be one of the biggest, like Poopster said, signals or social proof. And, I don't know what type of demand that there will be for this. The biggest opportunity, though, again, is that this is, and to go back to, we're planning on tokenizing, creating, and I don't know what that conversation is going to look like, as far as, because when you're talking about land acquisition and then doing the development, those are all different phases, and that's going to be conversations that will be largely facilitated. And I don't know what that's going to look like over time. And that will, you know, we'll figure that out. This is all a work in progress. Nobody's ever done anything like this, and that's the wonderful opportunity that we have here is taking some, like, one of, like, anyway. So again,
I have one more
Sure.
one more thing to add, right? Maybe talk about where the 1 ETH will be held, right? So like if I'm in real estate and I'm doing a real estate transaction, everything is kind of held in an escrow account. So maybe talk about the security of the account that they're sending the ETH to.
And to be clear, that's something that we're gonna, because this all could happen very quickly as far as when we make this NFT launch occur to when it, hopefully, you know, and that's like one of the things that Poopster has been wanting to talk about is like, okay, well, let's say that there's so much demand, like, what do we do then? And that's the thing, is that I'm wanting to.
Can I jump in here?
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that, yeah, that what Erica, you may not know, is that we have what's called a multi-sig wallet, right? So that controls the funds for our DAO. And ideally, I think what would happen is that the Ethereum would be sent to REtoken DAO's multi-sig wallet, right? So if you need more information on how a multi-sig wallet works, I'm happy to post some more information regarding that. But basically, it's like a safe that has to be okayed by a certain amount of people in order for a transaction to happen. So yeah, it would be entrusted with the REtoken DAO multi-sig safe until we actually put it into an Ethereum node.
I love it. So maybe put that inside of that.
Well, so
inside of the tweet.
And that's one of the things that we could, I feel that it's almost, because the more complicated that you make it,
yeah,
the less likely, because we need to keep this, again,
I think what we want to do is just express our general idea, Youngs, and not go into what you're saying. Is not like going super detail here. Just through our tweet that we're trying to craft, we can keep it short and sweet, and then anything else we want to add to that, we can add on in our documents or through the Discord or the proper channels where those need to be added.
Yeah, because
okay, like I understand that part, and I don't want to make it too confusing. But if I'm a person seeing this, I would want to know about where my 1 ETH is going to be held. That's all I'm saying. So maybe that's something that people would look for initially.
That's the benefit of how that we're architecting this, Erica, is that we're not making that decision before, because again, it's going to be up to the people that are saying, hey, this is something that I want to be a part of. Now, I don't know how many crypto projects that you have personally been involved in, or if you've ever bought an NFT or any of that. And like, things are moving very fast. Like, the idea for the NFT founding, like when I was in Austin, Texas for the Blockchain Real Estate Summit on the 10th of September, TokenTown wasn't even an idea 30 days ago. That's how fast that things are moving. And that's one of the things that we have to also be, continue to move fast, but you do also put some valid points in there. But that's the benefit of how that we're architecting this, is that we're not mandating that you're going to do it this way. We're creating the opportunity for people to have a voice in the process of what we're creating here.
Okay, so this is just like a lead gen. This is to pull interested people into the project.
You nailed it right there. This is our official social proof from the crypto community that says, man, this sounds like something amazing. Here's my 1 ETH. And we're wanting to structure this like the rage quit feature is where somebody gets pissed off and they're like, okay, well, I'm peace out, bitches. And then they can just leave and then they get their Ethereum back. That's one of the features that we're going to talk about. That's where that I highlighted this, because I don't want to make these decisions by ourselves, because I don't know who's on here, and I'm not asking anybody on here to pony up 1 Ethereum for this, because again, this is ideally that are people wanting to physically live within this new Colorado subdivision. And the goal that we're having here, I really believe that the way that we're going to architect TokenTown through the crypto mining assets that are generated through these crypto houses, that this could potentially over time for the people that are living in these crypto houses, make the housing entirely free.
And I think we need, that's some great points, Jason. I think we need to add and make it very, very clear that your one Ethereum founders, one Ethereum deposit is not considered like a something that should be considered an investment, right? So there's no expectation of return from this. It's purely, like Jason said, a signal to kind of like to say, this is my stake. I am committing to do this, but it's not an investment. It's definitely not that.
Hey, Teresa, the staking basically just means it's a crypto equivalent of depositing it in a super high yield account that yields other crypto. So it would be something like the if we stake it, you have an opportunity to earn more crypto or earn more of something else that everybody wants. It's basically just while we're asking people to let us sit in the safe for 5 or for 6 months, that if this project ends up not happening, that hopefully we will be able to return them their Ethereum plus yield. That's the goal.
And if it does happen, what does it, I'm trying to figure out what it enables and how it relates to the solar project.
So it relates to the solar project because this is social proof that people want to be involved from a consumer standpoint of what we're creating here. So that's one of the reasons that we have incentivized the participation, because this is also social proof. Like right now, as it stands, TokenTown is the largest, from a team member representation, the largest project on either the hardware or the software track. And this is, again, just social proof. And then it not only is social proof, but it creates a framework that we can move forward with the people that say, hey, I want to be a founding citizen. Ideally, again, that's people wanting to physically live within this new Colorado subdivision. Now, I don't want, and that's the benefit, is that we're creating the framework with what we're building here with the governance mechanisms in Snapshot, that we can build that type of dynamic that we've been talking about. So going back to your point there, Poopster, how does this sound? This is not an invest, and I'm going to put investment.
So I just want to be clear. It doesn't actually like generate income or allow you to be able to access any additional resources through Ethereum. It's just showing that you have enough people that support the project, kind of like the letter of support.
No, to be clear, we're going to be having conversations, because if you have Ethereum sitting on the shelf, you have unrealized opportunity, and that's where this little and founding citizens will collectively decide on how to earn yield with the 32 ETH, because it's basically like we're wanting this to again be a signal or a an interest, but then also we're creating here that they'll have a priority. So we're setting the expectations that the people that are saying, hey, this is something that I want to be involved with. But the biggest, and this is in my opinion the biggest benefit of this, is that the NFT holders will have the priority on that parcel. And again, I don't want so these conversations will all happen for the people that put the one Ethereum forward and say, hey, this is a great idea. And that's really how that we're wanting to architect this, because us having these conversations, because I'm not asking nor am expecting anybody that's necessarily participating in today's Zoom call to say, hey, I want to live in TokenTown, Colorado, or be a founding citizen.
Yeah, I actually had one kind of question myself, Jason, about your kind of vision here for this. Being that there's going to be 32 founders, or at least that was the thought. Does that mean that there's going to, ideally be 32 living spaces available? And what is kind of just a general time frame that you would look to for something like this to actually come to fruition? I mean, are we talking, you know, if we're talking like building something or buying something, you know, I think that I know that those are all conversations that will be had going forward, but I was just curious about like, you know, being that there's going to be 32 founders, that I think the real question is there, does that mean that there has to be at least 32 living spaces?
Well, and so here's, I'm going to go off on a slight tangent real quick. And I think that I've talked about this before, but it's worth talking about again, because one of the things that I'm looking for, and that's what I'm going to spend time from here this afternoon to potentially our working group later today. And we're already 10 minutes over our normally allotted time, but this is great conversation. So like the house that we're wanting to build, that Tyler and I will personally live in this TokenTown in Colorado, we're wanting like a 6-bedroom house. Okay, so when you think about like further fractionalizing our 6-bedroom house, Tyler and I, we only need 2 bedrooms. So we're going to set up a cooperative structure for co-op housing where we, as a founding citizen, could potentially fractionalize to allow you know, a sub NFT or a derivative NFT or whatever, the opportunity to have 2 housemates, instead of those housemates saying, okay, well, the founding citizen is gone, I don't necessarily want to go through the dynamic, but, and this is an opportunity that Tyler and I would like to create for our personal residents in TokenTown, to have 2 housemates. And that's something that we want to control, that process and that selection criteria, because they're going to be people living with us, and we want to have people that we believe are compatible with, you know, us for coexisting, right? So that would be one of the utilities that this NFT that we could create could potentially provide, is the opportunity to fractionalize that NFT, where we could say, okay, well, you can be a housemate in our TokenTown. So there's going to be probably, you know, and I don't know enough about subdividing properties, and that conversation is going to be, there's going to be lots of conversations about site selection and what it'll look like subdividing. And the biggest thing is that there's already a lot of existing rules and regulations. And that's one of the opportunities that we have in having conversations with, you know, local municipality leaders, is that we want to build TokenTown in a town that is welcoming to us as far as what we're creating here. So I don't know if that helps to provide a little bit of additional clarity on things for you there, Poopster.
Well, kind of, but but not really, because of the fact that you said that that signifies that they would all want to live, you know, that by being one of the 32 founders, it signifies that you would be willing to, you know, open and actually living there. I guess my question is, what if 30 other people want to do the same thing as you and Mrs. Yonks, and they want to actually live there? And like, because you said like a 6-bedroom house, and I'm thinking, well, 32 people, but you only want to have, so that, I guess that's kind of where I'm unclear, like how that would work.
Well, and you know, like the potential opportunity for us to have a high rise. I mean, Serge talks about, you know, he can 3D print a high rise up to 15 stories. So the opportunity to potentially have MDU, a multiple dwelling unit within TokenTown, you know, again, those conversations can be deep. And the thing, trying to keep it simple here with this NFT founding citizen, is that this is, again, a primary mechanism for people saying, hey, I love this idea. I love that you know, because we will have the opportunity to collectively decide, because again, going back to Teresa's question, as far as getting yield on the Ethereum, I think the opportunity for us to do a real simple dynamic, like set up a node or a validator. Now there might be other opportunities, but like that's one of the value propositions, because we're wanting to deploy our own blockchain infrastructure in crypto houses within TokenTown. I personally really like that idea, because it continues to contribute to the narrative and the vision of building these crypto houses where we're getting yield on the crypto assets.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm on the same page there. I was just curious about like the really just the numbers and the fact that like if all 32 people wanted to, I guess that's something we work out down the line. But I think that'll. So yeah, I'm fine with that. Understanding that the 32 initial founders will be the ones who kind of determine all of the.
We lost you, Poopster. You're a little.
Sorry. Okay. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I just wanted to be clear on like how the 32 founders, if they all wanted to live there, how that would kind of fit in. But I see that that's something that like we'll decide through like governance going forward. This is just we just want to get the basic 32 people lined up first.
Our experience with City DAO is, and I'm guessing this is more representative, the odds of all 32 NFT holders wanting to live there is probably 0. So people buy it. We tell them it's not an investment. They buy it anyway, hoping it might go up. They think it's cool. They like land on the blockchain. They want this thing to happen. They want to put something else in their collection, whatever. So when we came into City DAO and we said we wanted to live there, they were shocked and so excited that somebody wanted to, because I don't think anybody wanted to live in City DAO.
Yeah, that project was largely built out of the novelty of putting NFTs on the blockchain, and that's one of the things that it seems like that narrative continued. Because when we bought our founding citizen NFT, the next community call that I joined was community call number 8. And one of the things that really resonated with us is it felt like that a lot of the decisions had already been made as far as what it would look like being a founding citizen, or the direction that the project was wanting to go in. And so that's one of the things that wanting to take a step back here and not decide all the parameters and really allow founding citizens to truly found a community that they hopefully will live in. And that's one of the things, like going back down here to the potential of using proof of humanity or Bride ID. Like one of the other components that I observed in City DAO is that there were people that acquired multiple founding citizen NFTs and with the intention of flipping those. And I think that that's probably already done profitably for some people that acquired their founding citizen early. Now, the intention with how we're doing this, it's not even an auction. That's the thing that I like about this, is it's just super simple. 1 Ethereum, 32 people. And again, wanting to keep this as simple as possible, so because the main benefit of doing this within the time frame of this American-made solar prize contest is that this, if we like sell out our NFTs before our submission package is finalized, think of how much validity that will add to our submission. Not only do we have the social proof from people that have joined our project here, but we also have social proof from people that want to consume the product that we're talking about creating and building.
Yeah, no, I agree. That clears things up quite a bit for me. What your initial statement was something about, we wanted 32 founders of people who ideally would want to live there. So I think that my general question was just around, would 32 people be able to live there if they wanted to?
It's not a requirement. It's just something where this whole idea of community of, think about on one end of the barbell, you have people that absolutely hate your HOA. You've got a bunch of Karens that are trying to tell you what color to paint your front door. On the other hand, you've got your college dorm that you cannibalize with all your best friends because you could pick your community. So somewhere in the middle of that is what we're trying to build, of saying, if you could pick your neighbors, who would you pick? And wouldn't it be nice to know that the people that you were living by had some values in common with you, so you weren't fighting with your neighbors all the time? That doesn't need to happen. If it does, cool, that's what we would love to see, but we're not making that a restriction at all. We're just basically casting a vision, and if people respond to it, great, and if they don't, that's fine too.
And to circle back to something that I said a little bit earlier, is that for whatever reason, and it has to do with just land usage here in Colorado, 40 acres is normally the smallest decent sized parcel that's available. So when you think of a 40-acre parcel, the opportunity to subdivide that into 40 1-acre parcels, and an acre is a huge amount of land. Normally, houses aren't built on anywhere near 1 acre. And like Mrs. Yonks and I, we absolutely don't want to have a yard. We hate doing yard work, and like the less yard that I can have, the better, because I would love to build community parks in TokenTown where, you know, if we want to socialize with the community. And that's the other super fabulous thing about just totally reinventing the whole dynamic. When you think about how subdivisions are normally created, there's absolutely zero community that exists before people invest. And like here in Colorado, to buy a new house, you're looking at anywhere from 350 to 500,000. And that's just for a starter house. And the opportunity with taking this approach with this founding citizen dynamic, we have the opportunity to start building community together, leveraging the technology of internet before that we even like think about like where we're wanting to live. We have the opportunity through this process to have a true community and camaraderie with these founding citizens. And it'll be exciting to see what that develops into over time. So I'm gonna screenshot this, throw it up here on Discord. How's everybody feeling about coming back here later today for working group number 6?
I think we need to finalize the entry. We need
I
to really work on it, and I don't know.
I agree.
Maybe we can concentrate on that a little bit more. And I know you're doing a lot of these things to put in the entry. So let's like mentally or physically put them already. You know what I mean?
And so I'm going to be working on this. And, you know, like I said, I would rather hang out here with everybody else, give opportunity where I'm not operating in a vacuum. And yeah, I agree. One of the opportunities for people, we've got this, and we're really wanting to utilize GitHub. I think most people are on here. It's pretty easy. And when I say on here, I'm talking about joining the team. And I'll do a good job trying to circle back with the people that aren't. I know that I think Crush said that you have a GitHub account already, and we've got I don't know if everything blockchain. Do you have a GitHub account over there, CM? I don't know if he's able to speak.
He said yes in the chat.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks for seeing that. So yeah, that's something I'll send, and send me a DM there if you could, CM, with your email address, and I'll get that added so that I can send you an invite on that. Because that's really, I do agree, Amy, that we need to focus on getting our submission. And like one of the things that I've been thinking about as far as identifying the problem on the hardware track, the biggest problem that I see right now is most new home construction isn't built utilizing solar technology. And that's, I think, the biggest opportunity that we have to solve when looking at it through the lens on the hardware side of the project that we're creating here, is that we're talking about doing an entire subdivision that we're going to be utilizing the most bleeding edge and the best solar, American-made solar hardware for building this town, and the opportunity to create an entire subdivision. And that's the kinds of conversations that I'm wanting to have with solar providers. Like I already mentioned Namaste, and I'll tell that story later. But I'm gonna pick up the phone and call them the guy. Because go ahead, Amy.
Based on the research that I've done for the Department of Energy, the ones that won the prizes, and even the entries in those contests, everyone is trying to solve that solar problem. You know, the cost, the best technology. So if I were us, I would look into those companies and see if they're already viable and use them, because they're the ones that are really solving. If you go with the old solar companies, and I might suggest this even to my associate, they're still using the same technology that made solar not profitable. And these new companies that are coming up that actually won the prize have the solution that, you know, the technology of solar from here and beyond needs to use. So that's why they won. That's why their entries are there. There's so many things that we could actually kind of merge with a project that we have that are already there. It's available. I just don't know how viable they are right now. But we can look into that later on when we put these pieces together, because that is what the contest was for, to solve this problem. You know, the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we can use those technologies that are already out there and have won to put in our subdivisions. So
Absolutely.
another thing, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but there is a company that we are dealing with my own solar project, as we're starting to do a project in Ghana. But there is a company right there that uses solar and the Bitcoin mining, and they have an equipment, and I don't know if what they're doing is selling the extra solar. They're doing it through, like, if I'm a household and I have a certain kilowatt hour that I'm not using, I can sell it to somebody, and they're using an app for that. And I don't know if we can kind of use it for our side down here. Like when we built these communities already, it's like an extra income for each family.
Yeah, and
And
that's the one of the benefits of doing a whole subdivision like this, is that we can
yeah,
leverage, like, because we're functionally going to be our own micro grid, and you know that's one of the things that we can be thinking about. And it's not.
I suggest that we are microgrids that are not attached to the electric company. It's better if they do their own trading. You know what I mean? Like, I'll
Correct.
sell you my kilowatt, you know, I have a party tonight, can you sell me your kilowatt? Something
Sure.
like that. It's something new, but they're doing it already in Africa, because they have like small communities that don't have this electrical connections. So they're off grid, but they're thriving with this kind of innovation.
Yeah, no, and that's the kind of thing that I think that we'll continue to build out as we go through the additional phases of this, assuming that we win the ready stage. So going back to the question here, I'm quite okay and would love to regroup here for another working group tonight, and just wanted to put that out there with everybody else's thoughts. I don't want to be hanging out here alone if I'm going to go through the efforts of scheduling another working group, but I'm open, because this is something that I'm going to be working on anyway. So I'll put it out there for everybody to see what would be the latest time, Eastern time, that you would want to get together today to do working group number 6.
I think whatever time you mentioned, we'll just log on.
Was the 9 o'clock too late, or do we want to do it a little bit earlier?
9 o'clock, which coast?
East. We've been doing all of our events in Eastern time.
Okay, that should be fine. Thank you.
And anybody else? Anything is 9 good? 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right, 9 p.m. Eastern it is. Last chance to interject. Oh wait, Tyler's here. So Tyler, welcome back. Looking at doing working group number 6 here, 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. So I'm just updating the GitHub project page for that here real quick. Any final thoughts before we finalize on the 9? That'll give us like a, I don't know, 4-hour break, 3-hour break between now and then. Is that right? It's 5:30, 3.5-hour break. Yeah. All right.
We'll see you again.
Yep, 9 o'clock. Thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your afternoon, and we'll be back on here to like you said, Amy, move our submission package forward. One of the things that I'm going to be doing between now and then is seeing if I can figure out this NFT stuff, because that's something else that I would really like to see our NFT get launched. And I'll be also here this afternoon working on an internal proposal to try to summarize everything that we've been doing in a nice little manner for communicating to the community at large. So have a good afternoon, and we'll be back here for working group number 6, 9 o'clock tonight Eastern time.
I'm also going to jump on the NFT stuff with you. I sent you a link, Jason, to one that I thought was looked pretty good on Polygon. I'd like for you to take a look at that. I think it's something we could do very quickly and easily. I've also got a couple offers to actually do the artwork. Is that
Nice.
something that would you like me to just kind of offer up?
Hey, yeah, if you can figure out something on that, I'll recommend putting together a proposal, and that's something that we can also have some conversations. Go ahead.
Kyle from last night. I think I'm gonna ping him on this, but I think he's. I had asked him to kind of help us out with that, so I think that he's already working on something.
Fabulous. No, love that, and I'm all about easy. And the other thing too is my expectations are with the NFT is that, you know, if there's, because I don't know if that's a reality, like if everybody would have to set up a Near wallet to acquire NFT or not. So,
but if we mint it on Near, they will, unless we bridge it over. So that's what I'm telling you. We need to do it on Polygon where everybody's already like integrated, because that's going to be a huge headache if we mint it on Near.
Yeah, well, and I think that they already have that bridge in place, but again, I don't know enough.
Maybe you're right. Yeah. So, okay, so you can. Why don't you look into that, and I'll look into the. Well, we can. Sure. Yeah. Let's collaborate in the Discord. We'll use the Discord to collaborate, and also, if there's anybody here who had any questions about Erica, I posted a link to like a what do you call it? Crypto dictionary. So if you need help with any terms, there's a link to one right there in the general chat of our Discord. Or if anyone has any other questions regarding any of that, I also set up a support channel for questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let me know as well if you guys need help creating artwork. I'm a graphic designer as well, so I'd love to help.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
All right, well, we'll see everybody back. I'm going to go ahead and bring a wrap to this meeting, and we'll, like I said, we could take that, or like you said, Poopster, we can start having that conversation on the NFT stuff. See, this is what happens. 2 hours is about my limit, and then I start getting tongue-tied. But it's super. I felt really good about getting the finalization on the NFT founding citizen benefits. I'm going to work on getting that tweet out. And anyway, we'll catch up with everybody here later this evening. Have a good rest of your Saturday afternoon. And thanks everybody for hanging out here today.
Thanks everyone. And thank you, Jan and Mrs. John.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, guys.
Tyler. Thank you, everyone.